You went into corporate America, out, you're an entrepreneur in music, modeling.
WNBA practice player too.
Dude, you're doing it all.
We went and lived in Bali.
There's like small steps and then there's like big leaps that are like the full send ones, you know, that come every once in a while.
Hard to kill.
And I'm not super familiar with TikTok, but there's a group called like the Sway House. So someone from there was having a birthday party, and my company sponsored it. So we were out there I was out there for that, and that was incredible. I met some people that like you see on your phone all the time and never like actually expect to see in real life. And then I'm in music, so I had some like meetings with like agencies out there to just talk about maybe like a record deal soon, which would be great. So that was LA. It was a great trip.
So if you don't mind, let's back it up a little bit, because I feel like we're going to have a lot to unpack here.
Sure.
So you Northwestern, you then went into corporate America, out, you're an entrepreneur in music, modeling. Dude, you're doing it all. I'm really interested to hear how this perfect storm came together.
Wearing a lot of hats and they can all complement each other, it sounds like.
Oh, wow. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a few things I'm doing now. And WNBA practice player too.
Yeah,
that's freaking
I can't believe
that one's really that one's sweet.
Yeah, because you have the jersey on right now, right? What is that?
Yeah, it's funny. This is from my hometown. This is my high school. So I was a wrestler, but I always liked basketball. So one day while I was grabbing a wrestling singlet out of the equipment room, I jacked a basketball jersey just to have. So I'm just a poser, man.
Yeah, but you look tall. You look like you can play. So I don't know. Just keep wearing the jersey.
Just fool some people.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good question. Like, how did it all come together to do those different things? Because they're all pretty different, but they converge like certain places. And I do think that like ultimately, like, you know, being successful in music or something, however you want to define that, can like help. When it comes to like brand awareness for, you know, it's a watch company right now. I'm wearing one of them. It's called Wallace White. So it can help there, and as well as it helps with modeling if music's doing well. But to back it up, yeah, I went to Northwestern. It's actually where I met my co-founder, and I studied economics there. And then around our senior year, I was just at a party off campus, and my friend who I'd been friends with since freshman year, my co-founder, was telling me about he had this idea for a watch company. And everyone at the party was like, "Man, what are you talking about? You want to start a watch company? Like, we just went to Northwestern, like we'll go get jobs." But we did get good jobs, but I was really interested in what he had to say, and I ultimately really believed in him. And so, like, flash forward a year later, like, I'm continually, checking in with him on this watch company and, funding what little I can at that time. And he was at JP Morgan. I was at PricewaterhouseCoopers for about a year and a half. And the whole time, we're still trying to develop this watch idea, this company. Eventually, we take a trip to China together to go see our manufacturer, and that was kind of like a big, I'd say, turning point for it, where in like my head and maybe in his head too, it was like, okay, well, this is really what we want to be doing. Like, this is what we're really passionate about, kind of where I saw like the future going. So we ended up leaving our jobs, leaving corporate America, which is kind of like a scary moment at first, and but I would encourage anyone in their 20s to bet on themselves, kind of. And if like you have something you're really passionate about and you want to do it, like, do it now, kind of thing. So we had a Kickstarter campaign for the watches shortly thereafter. It's a successful campaign. And from there, we sort of used that as like a proof of concept, like took that to different investors in our network, which were mainly through our college. So that was great to see that was so applicable and useful for us. And so we raised some money, and then it was like you still have to pay bills. You still have to like pay your rent and everything else like that. And our lease was, he had left his job in San Francisco and left San Francisco and moved in with me in Chicago. And our lease was up, and we're like, okay, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to stay in Chicago? We can be anywhere right now. We're own bosses. And I was like, I hear it doesn't cost very much to go live in like Indonesia. So we went and lived in Bali for 3 months. And that's kind of where I really got into music. Like my dad was a guitar player, and like he was incredible at it, really. So I brought a guitar with me, and I'd had a guitar in high school and I had it in college, and I would play, but I couldn't like quite sing yet or like really know how to write a song. And then so just like being on the other side of the world with like, I had my best friend and then also and a company to build, but like outside of that, I still had stuff to do during the day. So I'd like write songs, play guitar, and I got pretty good. And then we went to, and then the pandemic, hit and everything else. And I was, we were in Sweden then for about the whole year, and they did it differently than like how other places in the world did it. I worked with a producer out there to like make an EP come to life. So 4 songs right now are out, and then I have a single coming out next week with him, this producer in Sweden, who's like brilliant. Like, he went to Stockholm Music School for undergrad, Berkeley Music School for grad school. He's like really good friends with Avicii. And like Stockholm is kind of like a tight music scene. So like I just love his music. So it makes working with him so fun. And then I released those tracks. I was able to move to New York City. And then I signed with a modeling agency. That was all just done like over the internet. I was like applying. COVID times and everything, you can apply for stuff online. It's digital world a little bit more. So that's how I got the modeling gig, and I've been doing that for a few months now, and I really enjoy that work. Like health, fitness, I love taking care of myself, and I love being able to like, try on new stuff, meet people, and do fun photo shoots. It's kind of nerve-wracking sometimes, but ultimately I love it. And then the WNBA thing, I guess just to wrap it all up, I did that in college at Northwestern. So I practiced with the women's team there. I reached out to a coach and asked if I could do that for the WNBA. Because I went to
Are you with a specific team with WNBA?
Yeah, with the New York Liberty. So
okay.
Yeah, so I was just like at one of their games, and because I went with someone who I played with at Northwestern, and she's playing overseas now, and I was like, wow, I feel like I could play against these women. Like I feel like I could do well, or not even do well. I think it'd be really fun. And I reached out to like an old coach. I was like, hey, I know it's a long shot, but like, do you know anyone at the Liberty? And he did. So like a month later, he got back and was like, yeah, you want to practice? So I've had quite a few practices now with that team, and that's really cool experience as well.
When did that start for you?
That started about a month ago.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of fresh.
That's the freshest one. Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Did you play basketball growing up?
I did. Yeah, I played in high school. I'm 6 feet tall though, so like I was really limited. And yeah, like
don't say that. Anyways, go on.
So yeah, I can only take it to I couldn't take it to college.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Did you do anything else besides basketball?
Yeah, I played all sorts of sports growing up, and I still like love sports. So like hockey I played a lot, tennis, golf, soccer, football. Really tried to play a lot of different. Yeah.
I feel you. So for college, you went to Northwestern?
Yeah.
Was there anywhere else you wanted to go, or what was the reason you chose Northwestern?
Northwestern was always my dream school, so it was really cool when that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Ohio, and like really small.
Where in Ohio?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. Shit, yeah. I don't know if you're familiar. I grew up in New Lexington. Yeah, New Lex.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the new Lex. That makes sense with the jersey now.
Yeah.
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 Did you know he's from Ohio?
No, I had no idea. That's
Okay.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. That's
So,
cool.
Are you familiar with Granville, Ohio? Then.
Oh yeah. Granville's
Okay.
like 35 minutes from us.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was there. Yeah.
Dude, that's
Shit,
awesome.
dude.
How
How
old
old
are
is
you?
he?
What?
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Fuck, dude.
Dude, you guys were like in the same
Yeah.
vicinity for
Yeah.
Really?
Growing up, man.
That's wild. Yeah,
Did they have a wrestling team?
they did. Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure we wrestled against them, so I might have been in or around your gym at some point. That is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
you look at your cross paths.
Yeah, just-
You probably have, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was from Granville, Ohio, and like it's not very common for students to like go to college out of state, I would say.
Yeah.
Pretty common for, like Ohio State's a great option, and there's so many schools in Ohio, like Miami, Ohio, Kent State, or Cincinnati, or there's just sort of endless options, it feels like. But for me, I always wanted to go to Northwestern. I had some family that lived in Chicago around the campus, and so I'd see it every summer, and it just really appealed to me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it was awesome when I got it. Yeah, that was a really fun 4 years.
So you went to Northwestern and you studied economics. Did you start off with economics, or did you change majors a few times? What's the deal with that?
I think, I started off as a math major.
Okay.
And then ultimately finished off, with econ. I could have stuck with the math maybe, but like everyone around me was like, "Oh, this math stuff's gonna get really tough, man." Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
That sucks, bro.
That does suck.
I just like listened to like the advice my year that was like go do econ. And a lot of people study economics at Northwestern. It's like a really popular, really great major. And enjoyed it. I finished in 3 years in like the Northwestern does quarters, so it's kind of different. Like most schools do semesters. So I finished like the fall quarter of my senior year, so I had some time to like before my job started and what I wanted to do. So I went to Australia for like 3 months to like sort of decompress because like college was really like intense, like academically, and also working jobs and stuff like that to like kind of like pay for things. So I spent some time then in like Sydney. And just sort of, I had a guitar there too, so I was like practicing all that stuff. And then I started with PricewaterhouseCoopers for like a year and a half there. Yeah.
Okay. Talk on that briefly.
It's great experience. So, like I still feel like I use a lot of the skills I learned to like the small skills, like how to be good at PowerPoint, how to be like how to be professional, how to write a good email. I'm not like, it was really useful. I love being my own boss now. So
For sure.
I don't know how great I am at like not being a boss, but that was like one thing I was like, but it's like the tough thing about that like job is you travel I travel a lot already, but you travel like a lot at that job. So like Monday you wake up, like you get on a flight at like, I'd get on flights at like 5 a.m. It felt like to go from like Chicago to wherever the client was. And then you're there till Thursday. I mean, it's just like, they tell you, it's kind of funny because they tell you exactly what it's going to be like, but in your head, you don't believe it. You're like, oh, like, and I think that happens a lot too. Like my friends who go into finance, where like in college, like they come to recruit you at school and they're like, yeah, you're going to work 100 hours a week. And you're like, yeah, okay. What's 100 hours? And then you get there and then you feel like what 100 hours a week is. How did I sign up for this? So it was kind of like that. But I met great people and I got great skills. I'm glad I did it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, was there like a defining moment where I know you had some other stuff like the watch company and things like that, but was there a moment where you're like, I gotta move on, like I gotta do my own thing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really sort of fortunate in that it was like really my co-founder, like he did this like he interned at Oregon going into his senior year, and he had like sort of this like realization that like, oh, I don't want to do a cubicle, I don't want to like spend like a lot of time doing that. And then he was also kind of as a someone in finance, he's working with companies that were like small to like mid-market. He was working with the founders of companies that were doing, I guess, millions of dollars in revenue, be a client of JP Morgan. And then from there, like, it dawned on him, oh, like these founders are like keeping these profits. Like this is a lot of money. And like you can do really well if you have a successful product, company, brand, whatever. And so it really inspired him and pushed him. And yeah, I was just sort of fortunate that like the company got to a place where it was like mature enough for us to really make our own path. So yeah, it was at that point of the Kickstarter where it was like, okay, now this is real and it's getting too much for us to like juggle. So we should go all in this. And that's what we did.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's cool that you guys were able to. It almost seems like it wasn't something like a certain moment that it just kind of broke. It actually sounded like it's more how life actually works, because people hear about these, oh, this happened and then I just dropped everything and then it was, and then, we started. When in reality, most of life is you kind of start heading that way, or you kind of start putting the pieces in place, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 years go by, and then you're kind of where you are now. And
Yeah.
I think everyone falls in love with the romantic version of like, I just said fuck it and quit, and then and now I own a watch company and do this, and
Yeah.
There's so much shit you don't see, man.
No. But there was like a phone call that I'll always remember where I called him and was like, yo, you don't like, because it's a tough question to be like, hey, are you gonna quit your job?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I feel that. Yeah, there's still bouts of like full send. There's smaller bouts, you know what I'm saying? But it's not just one whole like compacted full send and then everything just like out of came out the air and it's like all in front of me, like no.
Yeah.
But you like, just like you said, you kind of you veer off towards it,
Yeah.
and then there's like small steps, and then there's like big leaps that are like the full send ones, that come every once in a while.
Yeah, I like that analogy to it. Yeah.
Now, with all the different things that you have to juggle, is there a tool that you use daily or maybe even weekly that helps you, whether it's a mindset, like a system that you have, or maybe even an actual tool like an app or just something to track all the things you have going on? What do you feel helps you the most?
Wow, good question. I don't.
Yeah,
usually,
you got. I'm counting 4 kind of big things that you're juggling right now. So
yeah, I swear there was a 5th, but I can't think.
we got watches, we got WNBA practices.
Yeah.
We got music, we got modeling.
Yeah.
What else are we hanging on to?
WNBA.
No, I got it.
Oh.
Watches. That's probably.
Watches, WNBA.
Yeah.
Modeling, music.
Yeah. That covers it for now.
We're losing track, dude.
Yeah. So
Yeah, back to Gerald's question though. How are you juggling it?
Doing okay. I don't use an app or anything like that. I will write stuff down on a journal just to be like this is a to-do list, and I like just putting pen on paper, and then I'll try to like knock them out. The nice thing is so WNBA practice, like that's in the morning, like that's like 3-4 hours out of my day. And what's good about that is like before, I mean, I don't have to, but I feel like I should, and I like to like exercise each day. And, part that's like so much of that is for modeling and also for music. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compliment a lot of your aspects, dude.
Yeah, it covers a lot. And it's just great for anyone can benefit from that, I feel like. So the WNBA practice kind of not bad. I don't have to work out later in the day, which is great. Yep. And the modeling, like I have an agent who kind of like does a great job of, if I have a casting or something I need to go to, giving me like a good heads up, and it's maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week for me. So the rest of the time I'm really able to like focus on Wallace White was like my number one, probably like use of time, and then like the music's kind of my escape. So like if it's late at night, that's where like usually where I like write most of my lyrics, most of the songs. Is like it's been a long day and like I just like need to decompress. Like I'll bring out like the guitar and like I'll just start playing and
For sure. They say the most creative times is in the evening.
Yeah, is that? Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
You have like the whole day to like be like, okay, what just happened? What
Yeah. The brain's kind of churning. If your day's going pretty well and pretty casual, your brain's kind of churning. It seems like later on in the day.
Yeah.
So
that's just kind of how I split up the day. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty consistent, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like because you have to write write music and you're always trying to write music, do you think it almost helps you in your personal life too? Because like you said, you go through these days of things and you're using it as an outlet to create music. But even if something you write doesn't become a song, it's still kind of getting these thoughts out of your head and onto paper.
Definitely. All the time. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, even if a song doesn't necessarily like even if a lyric isn't going to make a song, it's really helpful for me to just like kind of understand how I'm feeling. And sometimes I'll write something and be like, do I really feel like that? Okay. And like I can also help people. Like there are times where I write songs for other artists, not like that you would know of yet, but like so it's helpful in that sense. And then I just think you become like, as you kind of just throw yourself like to just very different situations, I feel like I've become more empathetic to like everyone's journey. And like you
for sure,
it's kind of like a sort of, I don't like to say stuff's like a dream, but it is kind of a crazy dream to like, oh, I'm gonna make pop music and I hope a lot of people like it. Like that's kind of like if you told my 15 or 13-year-old self that, he'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So like, and now I'm like, well, everyone's got something. So just like be empathetic to that. And then like, if you can support people on it, that's really cool too.
For sure.
Yeah,
I definitely think I like your analogy there. I think the more places we see and the more people we meet, it can send you in a. I think most of the time it sends most people in a positive direction. It probably does make everyone a little bit more empathetic,
Yeah, definitely.
So
that's what traveling so much and like seeing so many different cultures is
for sure.
That
For sure, man. I'm gonna ask him something that I haven't asked we haven't asked anyone, but I'm gonna ask him just because he does like 4 different things. But just because you got your hands in a lot.
Yeah.
Let me ask, where do you want to be in 5 years?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Oh,
30 years old. Where do you want to be?
I refrain from like.
You can plead the fifth on this one if you want.
No, I'm not going to because it's a fun question and it's. I generally like try to refrain from like, oh, this is where I like want to be and everything.
I'm in the same boat. And I don't know why I'm asking you that because I'm in the same boat where like I don't want to like I don't know.
I know.
Yeah. But I'm just curious with you because, like I said, you got your hands in a decent amount of things. I mean, it could be something as simple as still being involved in all 4 of them and just wanting to be on a higher level with all 4 of them. I don't know, but I'm just curious.
I have good answers to those. So, but you'll see, like, I have a big imagination too, and like I think that's also good. And
you gotta have it. It can be very favorable and it can be pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. And I do believe like just being young at heart, being optimistic and hopeful, like those are like 3 things that are just really like important. And make life a lot more fun and give you a lot more possibilities. So
for sure.
I can tackle those. I'll do the watches first with Wallace White. And right now we sell watches, hats, and shirts. So I shouldn't just say watches. But with that, it's like, I do feel like literally and figuratively like indebted to a lot of – we have about like a dozen investors. Some are like classmates of mine I went to college with. Some are like professors, some are mentors, some are celebrities. And so I feel like there's an obligation there to like deliver value. Like, wow, you entrusted me with like this time. And I told you like these were my plans for the company, and this is how much growth we would have and how many sales we do and all that. So I feel that, and in 5 years, I would love for this company to like be sort of like a global brand, and like we're selling watches in Asia and in South America and in Africa and Europe and in Canada and Mexico and all this stuff.
For sure.
I could put like a dollar amount on it because I have that in my head too, but I won't.
Keep that one to yourself if you want.
Like I want sales to be, but
yeah,
you never like the numbers might just seem like out of whack or whatever, so I won't.
Keep that one to yourself.
Yeah. But like I think, if like the more brand familiarity, and if we're doing really well, and I look at companies like Daniel Wellington's like a big inspiration for me. It was started by a guy in Sweden, and maybe you guys are familiar with the watch, maybe not. Or like Movement Watches is another example of like a company that started in the last 5 years that I really look to for a lot of inspiration. And so if I could have like a similar success story to those, would be like what I would want Wallace White to be in 5 years. And I really think we can do that in digital watches. I love our design. I love our watch.
Nice.
Yeah, so that would be there. In music, like I kind of hinted at it. Like I have this producer who I just think is, or I work with this producer who I just think is like just so incredible. And so like a lot of times I feel like an obligation to him too, where I'm like, I want to make sure your music is heard by as many people in the world as possible. So, and like I'm 25, like I know my window on this is like after I'll do this as long as people will listen, but like I feel like after a certain point, it's the next person's turn to like.
For sure.
So I know I have like probably like a 5 to 10 year window on that where it could be really exciting, but I would love to do like I'm working towards an album right now. It's been really fun to watch. One of the songs I wrote is called One of a Kind, and at the time when I wrote it in Los Angeles about like a year and a half ago, and I released it maybe a few months ago in March. So like it takes a really long time to make a song too. That was something I didn't appreciate before I got into music. Depending on how you do it, like you could get, I guess, a beat off the internet and then record over it, put it out, and it could be there quickly, but it might not be a good song. But if you want to build a song from scratch, you can take like 4 months. But I guess there's like, I want to hopefully in like 5 years from now, I'd love to have like 3 albums out, and I'd like to be doing like world tours. That would be my goal there. Like, cool. I've done a concert before. I did a concert in Mexico, and that was just like the funnest, craziest thing. It was like 200 people there, but like I just would love to continue to build.
Oh yeah, you want to climb up a little bit every time.
So I think that would be awesome. Musically, like, and then like if you can get any awards or recognition for it, that'd be cool too. And I have like goals for that, but like that's mainly also for like, again, kind of for my producer's sake. Like I really think this guy should win awards, and I can write lyrics and sing as well as I can, and hopefully we can get some of those. And but yeah, like 3 albums and some world tours would be really great there. And then with modeling, I'd love to. I genuinely love like photo shoots and like everything about it. So I think continuing to do, I model for Wilhelmina right now, and like I truly think it's the best agency. Like I've really had a great experience, and so I'd like to stay with them, and continue to do like some like cool campaigns. Like I think if I could do like a Gucci campaign, that'd be really fun. Like one of my favorite musicians is St. John, and he modeled and did a Gucci campaign like for them right before his albums really took off. So do more of that would be great. For the WNBA, this is a fun idea, and I don't think this is the one thing I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love it if we did like a reality TV show, kind of like Hard, for like the NFL. If we did that for the WNBA, and like each season I get traded to like a different team, and like it's like kind of behind the scenes of like getting ready for the season or whatever. Like maybe I'm like going through I'm on the New York Liberty this season, but like I could be traded to like the Chicago Sky like next year, and like we just build out a series from it. I think that'd be really fun.
Dude, it would just be like the life of an NBA or WNBA practice player, and then it's like you just grinding like just these girls balling on you, and then you like hitting a layup and be like, "I got one."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like, I mean, I get my ass handed to me sometimes. Like a lot of the time, so I think it'd just be like, I think it'd be great.
For sure.
Yeah. Those are the 5. I think that'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You want to hit him with the question?
I think it's time to hit him with the question. What's up?
Go ahead.
Well, actually, before I hit him with the question, is there any questions you have for us or anything? I know you recently have been introduced to the show through some friends. So anything you got for us?
I've listened to the show. You guys do an awesome job. It's like really fun to listen to. What was sort of the impetus for you guys?
So I brought this to Drew. I've really been, for me, it's been that I wanted to create a platform for people to talk and to just generally put out information that can help other people, because some people just don't know, and like for us, my goal is we have a conversation and talk about how you got to where you're at and some of the things you experienced, good and bad. And maybe there's some nuggets in there that, Joe Lewis from Miami can take and use to improve his life, or believe that he can achieve something similar or completely different. So that was my motivation. And Drew, I'm actually not sure, but I know he was all for it. You were all in.
I think people just need to, get a platform to talk on that often. And this is a good way to give it. And I guess we can say what makes someone hard to kill is very relative from one person to another.
Yeah.
So
you guys get great guests. So you interviewed Dan, who is a wealth manager at Morgan Stanley, and if I'm being like candid, is like the person I want to manage my wealth one day. I think he's terrific. And then you interviewed like Tim Edwards, who I used he was developed he set up this brilliant app called MeFluence. Shout out MeFluence.
Yep.
For like a brand, Wallace White, if we want to have influencers post in our watch, I always go through his app, or I go through his app a lot to find influencers to make the posts. And so I think it's a good step, and I think you choose great guys.
Yeah, they both did very well. Tim's very neat, Dan's very very driven man. So it was they're both some unique guys who got some good stuff going on. So
definitely.
I got on MeFluence after that interview with Tim, and I created an account and everything. I saw you guys on there. I'm gonna have to shoot you guys a message.
Okay.
Me influence for Wallace White.
Yeah.
So I think it's time. I think we hit him with the question.
I think it's time.
As you know, we have one question at the end of every show, and we're curious what you feel like makes you hard to kill.
Okay. Yeah, I thought about this a lot. I think it's a great question, and I love the title of the podcast. I wish I could. So yeah, and I thought about it. I was like, man, what's the realest answer I could give here? And it's like, I'd just say I'm consistent. So so many of these things that I want to do and that I'm trying to do, sometimes they're years out, I know that going in, I know if you want to start a watch brand, it's not going to be a hit overnight. It's going to take at least 3, 5, 10 years. And then the same thing goes with the music. It's a process. The quickest you can really climb it is probably a guy like Shawn Mendes did it in 3, 4 years, and that was unheard of. So like I just know going in that these things take time, and then like how to be consistent around that. Like I have like little things I do, like I run 5 miles each day, and that's just like I just have to.
Yeah.
Like that's like just I just want to do that. Like I didn't know if I should reveal this one or not, but I will because this is so helpful. Is like I don't drink, and I haven't done that for 2 years, and like I was just like you have so much more time, and like you never wake up.
Yeah.
You wake up with so much energy, and you're just ready to get after each day, and like that was one thing that I didn't like. It wasn't like something I set out to do. It wasn't like one big moment where I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like do that anymore. It's just like it's just kind of
There's no space for it, man. There's no space for it.
Yeah, there wasn't time.
You got too much going on. There's no space.
There wasn't time to like go out and like I don't go to like bars and clubs.
I'm with it, dude. And then I think when you hit an age when you realize there's not outside of socializing and camaraderie, there's not a crazy amount of benefit to it.
Totally. And like for me now, like the biggest moments in my life, like the moments that like excite me the most, like I'm not really drinking for them.
You're sober.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. I agree.
At this like party in like Los Angeles this past weekend that Wallace White sponsored, it was incredible. I saw like Bryce Hall, I saw David Dobrik. I got a photo with David Dobrik wearing our watch, which was really cool. That and like just so much of that stuff. I'm like, this is the stuff that like really like fires me up, gets me up each morning, and like
it's priceless, man.
It's priceless. Yeah, like that's the kind of thrill that just like that I chase.
Hell yeah.
So that's one thing around like consistency, and like I sort of just like I just feel like being kind kind of, because like I think a lot of stuff comes full circle, and like there are relationships that like I've just kept for so long, and then like the WNBA thing, like I would never have guessed that I'd reach out to like a former coach of mine from my time at Northwestern to be like, hey, do you know anyone at the Liberty? But 2 or maybe 3 years had gone by since like we'd really like hung out or anything or talked, but we had a good relationship, and so he's able to like kind of like vouch for me to do that. And so I think kind of just having that approach throughout life has like been helpful too, just like being empathetic and kind and and consistent. So those
man.
I think that's what makes me hard to kill.
You're unconditional, you're diligent, and you're consistent.
Yeah
it's a great recipe.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, do you have anyone you want to shout out? I mean, we've talked about your company as well as the team and everything, but if you want to go through and shout out them as well as any particular people or companies, go ahead.
For sure. I've given some shout outs already, but I'll continue. I want to shout out my co-founder, Elijah Wallace. He's like the best co-founder in the world. Right now he's in Chicago. He's there for like the Lyrical Lemonade Summer Smash Music Festival. Shout out Cole Bennett too. He's like part of our team at Wallace White and kind of got us hooked up at this music festival. And shout out to my music producer Armand. I'm excited for our new single. It should be like out next week. We're pretty pumped about it. And like my parents, my mom, if she listens, shout out Mom. And everyone who's been I guess cause it's been a pretty crazy journey these last like 3 years to like since my time at school. So everyone who's been a part of that, thank you.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on. Look forward, dude. And we're gonna be in touch. We're one of those people. We both of us do a really good job of staying in touch with people. So this definitely isn't going to be the last time we talk, or we got to find a reason to get together at some point, whether it's a fight, or we come see you, something like that. We gotta make it happen.
Just stay in touch, man. Stay in touch.
We'll do.
So, hell yeah, man.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I don't know if he has already. I'm not quite sure if I have, but I'm gonna go follow follow Wallace White and make sure I keep the tabs on you guys as well.
Yep.
Sharing your guys'
Wallace White Co.
Yeah, there we go.
Real quick, where do you find your music at? Is it Spotify or
I'm a Spotify guy. Yeah. My name on Spotify is Michael Thomas White. You can check it out there. 4 songs out now. New song coming out next week. I'm filming a music video here in New York City this weekend. And yeah, follow me on Spotify. There's an album coming at some point.
Oh yeah,
Let's get it.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming, brother.